All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the worst Super Bowl podcast you are ever going to hear because it is a week and a half late.
We're the best.
Yeah, we're the best. Who knows?
That time to
Maybe,
digest everything. That's it.
yeah, maybe you are just like, you know what? Because the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, they've kind of stopped talking about the Super Bowl, and I still want more Super Bowl talk. Well, this is the podcast for you. We can say all sorts of reasons why we're a week and a half late. Is it because I had to party twice as hard as back-to-back champs? Maybe. Is it because I was kind of on a ski trip and then we couldn't work last week? Probably. But yeah, hey, way to go, Chiefs. Back-to-back champions. It's good times. I don't really know how we want to go about this. Kind of everything's already been talked about, so we'll just get our personal opinions on the matter. There's only one place to start, and that is an update on our BS gambling. Was it cleavage?
Yes, it was 110%.
Did they pay out yes to the cleavage?
They did pay out yes to the cleavage.
Okay.
On the cleavage. Okay, it was also not just cleavage. It was under boob and side boob.
That was not the question, though. The question was it cleavage?
I know.
I can't even. That was something
There was a lot of boob. Taylor Swift showed a lot of boob at the Super Bowl.
Well, she tried her best.
The most boob she could possibly show without Janet Jackson.
That you want to talk about getting the Super Bowl numbers up? That would get the Super Bowl numbers up. That'd be gross. That's not what we need on a nice, wholesome family. Could you imagine that being on the Nickelodeon channel? Goodness.
Bunch of talks would be happening that night with some parents.
Yeah.
Mom, what was that?
All right, I didn't actually look it up. Did Vegas win money on it being tails as a coin toss? Or sorry, it landed heads the first time, so I assume that Vegas wins money because most people are going to say tails never fails.
Dude, well, tails got me because that's always my motto. Tails.
Yeah. Well, it didn't fail in overtime, but it kind of did still fail them. More on that later.
Yeah.
And then the other BS thing pregame that is a fun thing to gamble on, the under on the national anthem was solid under.
But then didn't it go over because she did two Braves?
Did it actually go over?
I saw that they paid out both because the second Brave put it over.
Oh man, I figured
some sports books paid out both.
I timed it at like 1 minute and 46 seconds, so I figured that was for sure an under bet, but.
Yeah, I think the second Brave took it over.
All right.
Reba got a little carried away there.
Way to go, Reba. I figured Reba would kind of like put her own little spin on things.
Well, she started.
I would have been
fast.
Yeah, I would have been on the over, but who knows? It could have been good, could have been bad. Well, those are all those things. The other things, I don't know, pregame / while we're on the non-football things. I gave the halftime show a 4 out of 10.
It was giving me major Jack Harlow vibes, to be honest.
He didn't sing it all. His track did a great job. Like the track did great. He did some fun dancing in there, but the roller skates was cool.
The number one thing we need to talk about with Usher is Usher needs to stop being so sexual with other men's wives.
Oh, yeah, with Alicia Keys.
This man does not understand boundaries, and he's just out here causing problems for so many people.
Well, he does not respect the sanctity of marriage.
I was informed during the halftime show that he apparently has the uncurable form of herpes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was that a Sarah fact or like they
little Sarah nugget there?
Okay, I was like, how did you learn that?
That's knowledge. Like, can I Google that? Is that true?
Probably. You probably Google it. I didn't fact check it.
Is the uncurable form of herpes like deadly, or is it just like an irritant?
I didn't do too much research after that. I was like, okay, interesting.
All right. Hey, you know what? That's a great moment. We love our viewership. Hit us up in the comments on what you know about the uncurable version of herpes, and is it confirmed that Usher has it?
You may want
Does Alicia Keys now have it?
Yeah, which means her husband now has it.
I don't know who her husband is.
This is a problem.
Who's Alicia Keys' husband?
Some other rapper.
No.
Yeah, he
Okay.
definitely has herpes.
Okay.
He's been sued multiple times for not disclosing that he has herpes.
Oh, okay.
So that's public knowledge at this point.
Wow.
Man. How does that even work? Like that surely breaks HIPAA, but like it's also public knowledge because there's the lawsuit. So it's like that's hard.
I think if you have one though, you
You have to
disclose it. And if it goes to court, it's public knowledge at that point. So
Yeah, but my point is like you're not supposed to be able to like release like publicly what people have. But I don't know. That's a whole other thing. It's the same thing with like the injury report or whatever. It's like technically you're not supposed to say. I don't know. That's a whole ordeal. All right.
probably not contracted.
we're tangent. We're
Hey,
little,
it's a good weird tangent. If you're not talking about herpes on your Super Bowl podcast, are you even trying?
Hey, he was shouting out the ATL too.
How do we get to halftime so quick?
I didn't hear what you said there, Jonathan.
I said, how did we get to halftime so quick? We just skipped over the first and second quarter.
I was skipping over. I was doing the non-football things first.
Okay. All right.
So then now we can talk about football. There's 6 minutes on non-football things. Let's talk actual football things. It was a good game.
The first half,
Second half.
boring game I've seen.
The first half. Okay, the first half I will say was not pretty, but it was fun to watch. Those defenses were fun to watch.
The Niners defense was flying around.
The Niners defense in that first quarter was hitting people.
It was a good defensive game. I enjoyed the game. But once we started getting points,
Points were better. I enjoyed the points, especially because my team ended up with more points.
Yeah.
That was the one thing I kept thinking to myself. I'm like, whenever there's defensive struggles like this, it's always going to get interesting in the end. There's no scenario.
Yeah.
But I put money on the Chiefs 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. I doubled down the minutes before the Super Bowl and put more money on the Chiefs. And then at halftime, I was like, Chiefs are going to win. Like, I will put money on Pat right here, right now.
I didn't feel great about it at halftime, but I was like, somehow we're still alive. So
I was
They
like,
were still alive, barely.
a lot of people were talking about, I do agree that the Niners, in theory, dominated that first half.
Yeah.
But I would also say not really, because
defense.
their offense didn't really do anything either. Everyone's like, well, they fumbled in the red zone. Well, so did the Chiefs in the first half. So those cancel each other out. They both hit field goals. The Niners did get their touchdown, which honestly, the Chiefs read it pretty well, but the Niners' offensive line is very good, and they blocked well. I really liked
– call.
It was a great play call. Good play call. It was a good defensive play call. Just the Niners made a bit of a better play, and it worked out. I really liked. Go ahead.
Go ahead. All right. I was going to say it's a fun first touchdown for a Super Bowl.
Fun first touchdown. Great odds that you could get for a non-QB to throw a touchdown.
Also, a bunch of people were betting for just over 2.5 people to throw a pass. So that right off the bat.
That was good too. What I was gonna say is I really liked I've watched the like NFL mic'd up that came out after that multiple times. I really liked the Chiefs defense's response to that play where Steve Spagnuolo comes over to the defense and basically says, hey, the only way they're scoring touchdowns is with trick plays. They just showed their hand that they're worried and they've got nothing on us. And I think that the defense really was motivated by that, and you could see that they played a very good game after that as well.
If one side of the ball could get MVP, the Chiefs defense deserves the MVP. Like, they played really well.
Yeah. Shout out. I mean, might want to give MVP to my boys Butker and
oh yeah.
Sure. Shoot,
but they're never giving kickers MVPs.
Yeah,
it'll never happen.
For sure. I mean, I think if that game was won with just field goals, then Butker would get the MVP. But once the touchdowns started to go in, then it was like, okay.
You said one touchdown.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, to cover my bets when things were looking things were looking really close. I was like, the Chiefs could lose. And so going into the fourth quarter, I put money on Jennings, the wide receiver that threw the touchdown, and had another
touchdown.
I put money on him to win it, and the odds were outrageous. I put $20 down to win like $480.
Yeah.
Like, please. But
I think if that game ends 19-16, for the Chiefs, so Bucker hits 4 field goals, 1 from 57 yards, and like Mahomes only gets 1 touchdown, but also threw a pick, then maybe. But yeah, it's not going to happen.
No, they're never going to not give it to Mahomes. He's getting it.
Jawan Jennings was like the highest rated QB recruit like in the 2014 recruiting class.
Huh.
Look at that. That is facts right there that no one else is talking about.
That's real weird too, though, because he threw an ugly ball. Like that was not a good throw.
Was he? I think he was wearing a glove though too. That probably don't help.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I apologize for the Jawan Jennings slander there.
It blew my mind because he was in a class with like some decent quarterbacks and he was the highest rated recruit, but he's playing fucking wide receiver.
Yeah.
Actually, at one point in time, he should have been the MVP. If San Francisco won, he probably was the MVP.
If San Francisco won, he deserved to be the MVP. We'll talk a lot about Brock Purdy at the end of this podcast.
I mean, he had that one touchdown where he caught in the middle of the field, gets hit, is still standing there, and kind of like just walks in the end zone and was like, what happened? Like, the ball just is in my hands, and I'm 2 yards away from the end zone, and the Chiefs' defensive guy just falls.
Yeah, he had a lot of good sorry, not a lot, because the 49ers were pathetic on third down, but he was like their guy that was converting on third down.
Dude, he came to play.
He did come to play. Probably should have had the rest of their offense come to play as well. Would have been a bold, better choice, but oh well.
I have a question, Austin. Going into halftime, me as not a Chiefs fan, but understanding the talent you guys have on the offensive side of the ball with Pat and Kelsey, is it frustrating to watch him only throw, 6, 7 passes in an entire first half?
In the first half, he only threw 1 to Travis.
No, but like overall, he only had like 7 passes the entire first half. Is that not frustrating? Because you're sitting there going, dude, we're not scoring. We're not moving the fucking ball. Like, stop running it. He's not. I mean, there were like 3 possessions there where every run was like 1 yard, loss of 2, 1 yard, loss of 2. Like, it was just like, all right, throw the fucking ball. You have the best quarterback in the league on your team. Throw the ball.
I wasn't really too upset about anything like that because the passing game wasn't really working either, except for like Mahomes. It's a good throw, but if that one safety doesn't get lost, that's an easy pick. So
I don't know what I was looking at.
Yeah, the 50-yard bomb to Hardman. Like, I mean, sure, it's a decent throw. It hits him in stride, but it's in double coverage, and if one safety doesn't lose that ball, it's a very easy interception, which we fumbled on the next play, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I would say like we didn't really look super great either on passing the ball. So the offense was just in a problem. What I would say, if we're going to throw the pass, or if we were going to pass the ball, is got to go. We got to get more targets to 87 than 1.5. That's not enough.
Plus, half of his passes, I felt like we're behind the line of scrimmage.
Which we'll talk about that more later too. I mean, our offense is not. Everyone keeps expecting the Chiefs' offense to be the Tyreek Hill offense, but if you watch the Chiefs' offense this year, they have more 15-play drives than any team in the NFL. Like we go 4 yards at a time.
I just, for me, it's like biggest game of the season. Best quarterback in the league. I'd rather him have the ball than just to try to hand it off over and over.
I agree, but I really do think that, especially when you're playing against San Francisco, and if you go and watch the second half of that game, Andy Reid like preyed on Nick Bosa and Chase Young being super aggressive.
Yeah.
And so they were trying to get that going with the run game where Bosa and it actually worked out really well. because Pacheco got his carries. He wasn't super successful, but he got his carries. And at the end of the game, on plays that they had to have it, they ran read options right at Bosa, and Bosa crashed down on the running back on every single one, and Mahomes escaped the pocket and either threw for a first down or ran for a first down. So, I think a lot of it was just setting stuff up, and the way the Chiefs have played this season, they know that their defense is not going to give up more than 25 points because they don't. They don't give up more than 25 points. So their goal was, if we can hang in this game for as long as possible, then when we need to turn it on, we have set them up to where we can turn it on.
Yeah. No, I
Back.
it's frustrating thinking that, like, it's like watching this stagnant offense, and then, like, the second half, they start throwing the ball, they start coming alive, and you're like, well, what the, like.
Well, they did for like a couple drives, and then they seemed to revert back.
Yeah.
It made sense. And then, like, I love this. Austin was just talking about Patrick Mahomes comes off the sweep, runs directly at Bosa, makes a move and gets past him on the corner and picks up the first down. And I was just like, dude, I thought Bosa was going to kill him. Like, the way they were running at each other, and Mahomes makes one move and gets a little outside that corner, and Bosa's just fingertips away, and he can't get there. And I was like, dude.
Bosa play, or this is what Mahomes runs. Like, he runs straight up and down.
Yeah. No one plays
the Dre Greenlaw injury felt massive.
That's what I was going to say next is Dre Greenlaw going down. It was massive. Not only did it feel massive, but this is another one of those things where you can listen to the mic'd up afterwards. I'm sorry. This is going to be my first big take on Kyle Shanahan. His players don't have a mentality. You go watch those guys. They are crying on the side. They are physically crying because a player got hurt, and they were wrecked after that. I understand that a big part of the rest of that game is that their backup is not as good as Dre Greenlaw, and that takes a shot. But, like, the Chiefs players also got injured during that game, and the Niners do not have a next man up mentality. If Trent Williams goes down, they just are all like, oh, shoot. Like, Bosa and Fred Warner were literally crying on the sideline together when that happened, and they didn't recover.
The nature of by how it happened was obviously not good.
Yeah.
But I will say that the 49ers, they made excuses all week long.
All they do is make excuses.
It was somebody put the fire alarm out at 6 a.m. Like, it's not like it was at 1 in the morning. It was 6 a.m., fellas. Get up. Get on with your day. Then
also,
the turf wasn't right.
Yeah, they've got their issues. I think that the 49ers showed through everything over the past 2 weeks or so that Kyle Shanahan is a great coach, but he is not a good big game coach, not because the moment is too big for him, but he does not get his players prepared. That is the bigger issue.
Obviously, they don't even know the rule.
Yeah, they don't know rules.
That was crazy to me.
They can't. We'll talk about that more later. Let's not jump into that. We're still in the first half, but like they don't know the rules, but like they also like they don't really handle adversity well.
No.
They're good at playing when they're winning and playing their style, but like if they ever get from behind, they don't have that mentality that just clicks on.
Well, it's like that. It's like earlier in the season where they have a couple injuries. Like, I think Debo was out for a while. Didn't they lose like 3 straight?
Yeah, Debo and Trent Williams were both out for like the same amount of time, and their offense was nothing. But you lose your left tackle and your number 1 wide receiver. That's understandable.
Just crazy how much that like just destroyed. I mean, I get it; it's their best player probably, but
yeah.
And Kittle was not
destroy you.
So they didn't use Kittle. Like, I feel bad for him. Like,
he had what, 1 catch?
No, he had 2
catches.
He had 2. One of them. Go watch the first catch that he makes. He roasts McDuffie off the line, but McDuffie makes a great play to get out there and make a great tackle.
Hey, the Chiefs secondary is legit.
They're good. I hope that they all stay together. And And then obviously he had that big 4th and 3 conversion in the second half. It was good play. But yeah, the Greenlaw thing was a huge deal. I did like one of my favorite moments actually from the game was at the beginning of the game, on like the Chiefs' first or second drive. Dre Greenlaw tackles, I think it's Jerick McKinnon. I think it's on the very first drive of the game, and he like gorilla slams Jerick McKinnon's head straight into the turf.
Yeah.
And we just like let that go. He just like 2-hand like beat his chest and then 2 arms down on like McKinnon's chest and helmet and they were just like, yeah, this is fine. I was like, oh, okay, all right, we're gonna play this kind of game.
That first drive with the Chiefs, I was like, the 49ers just look like they are a different speed right now.
Yeah, I mean, I was texting you guys at halftime like, hey, it's only 10-3, but like this is rough. This is real rough.
49ers were dominating, but that's the scary part. When you feel like you're dominating, you're up 10-3. That's not a good sign.
That's the thing that I'm saying. Like, I understand that, yes, Purdy had like the better numbers or whatever, but like the Niners did not have a great first half on offense. I mean, they scored 10 points. They did have a fumble or whatever, but then like they went 3 and out a lot.
Yeah, both halves.
Both halves. And that's one of the things that I wish that you would have heard sports media talk about the day after the Super Bowl, that, yeah, the Niners played great, except for the Niners were atrocious on third down. I think they were like 3 of 12.
Yeah, they were not good.
They were really bad on third down, and we'll talk about why that's important more later as well. All right, and then Bucker hits a field goal in the half. 10-3 at halftime. Second half didn't start great for the Chiefs either because Mahomes threw a pick right away. It was
an ugly one. It was an ugly
one because Kelsey was wide open.
I don't think I've ever seen Mahomes throw a pick like that.
And I can't tell who he was throwing it to. Did he overthrow Kelsey or did he underthrow? I think it was Hardman.
It looked like he was trying to throw it to Hardman, and then he saw Kelsey, and he was like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
And then he just lost it.
I really loved the 49ers commentator because I listened to like both teams' commentators talk about it. And he was like, oh, Warner got good hands on him, and he shut him down. And I was like, dude, Kelsey beat him off the line by 5 yards. If Mahomes throws that into his chest, it's a big play. But no, it was a terrible throw from Mahomes. And that was the first moment where I was like, we're in trouble because Mahomes might not have it today because he really didn't play well in the first half either. He had the one really good bomb to Hardman, but like the passing game was struggling, and I was like, we've got an issue because that was a bad pick. But credit to the Chiefs defense again. They didn't even give up a field goal.
Yeah.
The Niners go 3 and out.
I will say when that pick happened, I literally thought to myself, I was like, uh-oh. Because I thought they played it perfectly. They did it like perfect Andy Reid style. You get the points before half. You're going to get after half. You're going to tie the game, and it's going to be a whole new ball game.
That's exactly what I was thinking was going to happen, and it did not.
Then the pick happened, and I was like, uh-oh, that ain't good.
Yeah. But defense is great. McDuffie makes a great play, I believe, on that one. That's the one where they tried to throw it deep to Debo, and he gets his hand up in the end zone. Perfect coverage. I loved my 49ers fans on the internet's tweeting that should be pass interference, and I was just like,
definitely not.
What are we doing here?
What's supposed to do? Yeah,
they were like, well, his left hand has Debo's right hand, and I was like, or you could say that Debo's right hand has his left hand. Like, they're both locked up together.
They have to be able. I'm sorry, they have to be able to like.
Yeah.
You have to be able to make contact with, not hit him, but
yeah, it was fine. I think it's just the like most desperate of people, and then of course, or people just wanting clicks on the internet that are getting things up. And this is the part where I think Mahomes also, he either has to go down by 10 points in a Super Bowl or a playoff game, or he has to have a bad turnover or something, because that was the moment where Mahomes clicked on. After the pick, he comes back, and all of a sudden he started to run for first downs. And that's when you know Mahomes is feeling good. He gets a couple running first downs, a couple good passing first downs, gets Butker into field goal range, kicks a 57-yard flat bomb on a bad hold.
Yeah, that was a scary kick because it was so low.
Poor rookie Jake Moody set a Super Bowl record and only got to hold it for an hour and a half.
That'll honestly, the next field goal, Butker's will be gone too.
Yeah, only that that's the only thing I feel bad for is that this kid is a rookie. He's actually had a pretty rough year. I wouldn't be surprised if like the Niners cut him and he kicked the longest Super Bowl in field goal history and then immediately lost it.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Also, Moody's kick was like way better. It would have been good from like 75 yards. Butker barely creeps one in over the crossbar.
Hadn't that record been there for like 20-something years or 30-something years?
Probably. I feel like a lot of times in the Super Bowl, teams are just like, no, we're not kicking field goals. We're going for it. Then the teams are exchanging punts because there's more bad offense. And then the muffed punt happened. And what I couldn't believe was the amount of coverage that didn't talk about that it hit the guy's foot.
They didn't think it did at first.
Yeah, like this is, I mean, I can't. How did we let Tony Romo call Super Bowl? I don't get how we let Tony Romo call Super Bowl.
I have a feeling that'll be the last one.
We got to get rid of Tony Romo.
My favorite thing about what NFL Films did, they didn't use any of Tony's tape. They would use Jim Nantz talking, and then they would cut it, and they would go to Kevin Harlan instead because they understand that Tony Romo is that bad.
I actually didn't think he did terrible in this game.
Oh,
if I hear, well, Jim, one more time, I might gouge my ears off. But
no, that fourth quarter was bad. He was just rambling.
There was, at one point, he was literally talking about a 5-minute monologue, and Jim didn't say a word.
Also, he sang. Didn't he sing? Like,
Yeah, he did. He did
that
sing.
was bizarre. I was literally like, was Tony Romo singing right there? I was reading Twitter. Nobody said a word about it. And I was
Blake
like,
just said that it wasn't that bad. Tony Romo started singing in the broadcast booth.
I forgot about that, but I literally was like, am I the only person that heard that? That is hilarious. Yeah, I totally forgot about him singing.
I don't remember what he was singing, but he started singing. I remember that part.
It was some weird song. Like it was like Jessica Simpson or something.
Okay. I do think I think that the media was pretty unfair with Ray McLeod, but I will also say he shouldn't have tried to scoop it up. He should have just tried. He was singing Adele. He should have just fell on it. Like
for sure, should have just fell on it.
But I understand when you're in that moment, there's got to be nothing going through your mind as that guy except oh shit. Like there's like it hits a guy's foot. It's going at an angle. It's coming fast. You can see Jalen Watson's right there next to you. Like you've got it. But yeah, I think he should have fell on it. I'm glad he didn't.
It was bizarre coverage on that though because the whole time Jim and Tony are just like, I don't understand why he went after that. I don't understand this. And then finally they show the replay and it's like, oh, well, obviously it hit his foot.
Yeah. And then even the next day, First Take and Get Up both didn't talk about how it hit the guy's foot. They were just like, Ray muffed the punt. And I'm like, what are you doing?
That hit the foot.
Yeah, you could tell live because the ball was going left and then all of a sudden it went right.
Yeah, it was bizarre coverage. They kept blaming Ray. I honestly felt bad for him because I was like, keep blaming him. It's not his fault.
He should have fell on it. So he does make a mistake, but like, I mean, he didn't really have.
In that situation, your mind is literally it shuts off.
I think you give him 10% of the blame, tops.
Yeah, agreed.
Because there's no way that no one there is like calm, cool, collected, and like, oh, I'm just gonna fall on this ball, and this is gonna be real easy.
And you probably are assuming that you're going to get killed as well.
Yeah, and if you do the math, there's probably like 5 Chiefs players to 1. Like, it's just you. Like, you're like, okay, I don't really have backup here, so. That leads to MVS scoring a touchdown on the next play. Blown coverage, I assume. I love Travis Kelce is a very smart. He's not a smart human being, but he is a smart football player. He understands football. I love you can see him just pointing to MVS mid-route because he knows that he got double teamed. And he's like, he's open.
Yeah, the picture of it was pretty cool.
It's a great picture. Travis Kelce came up with some great pictures in this game. Him celebrating by sitting at the looking at the scoreboard because he knows that MVS or that Hardman's wide open. Him pointing to MVS is good. Ooh, all right. We got We had double Jonathan there for a second. That's good times.
I finally got internet, so
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
I think at this point in the game, I texted the group chat, how in the world are we winning this game? But we were winning somehow.
that did get sent in the text.
Yeah.
We also
and-
got from Austin, one of the great texts was maybe we should just let Patrick Mahomes run the ball the whole time.
Yeah. Just let the guy take off.
Like, let him just run.
Seemed like it was working.
Yeah.
Third down was a Pat Mahomes run.
That's true. It was either designed or it wasn't designed. In classic Chiefs fashion, though, their defense has just been dominating, giving up no touchdowns except for on a trick play. Then the Chiefs take the lead, and so then immediately the Niners go on a 75-yard touchdown drive. Like that's Chiefs football for you, baby. That was when Kittle comes up with a huge 4th and 3 conversion in the red zone, which I thought was very bold from Kyle Shanahan. They were in chip shot field goal range, and they decided to go for it instead of tying the game.
Very ballsy.
Could have gotten absolutely slaughtered.
What was the play? I don't even remember what play they ran.
That was the George Kittle out route where he catches it and then like kind of dives over the pylon.
Yeah.
Even though he was already past the pylon when he dove.
Yeah, I disagreed strongly with that one.
But whatever, it worked. It paid off. That was the second the first receiving touchdown by Juwan Jennings, but the second touchdown that he was part of that Jonathan talked about earlier. It was good. It was good. I mean, that was a great drive by the Niners. Brock Purdy played Brock Purdy played a good game.
Okay, I was waiting for this to come up.
No.
Brock Purdy did play a really good game. He managed the game well.
All right, we'll talk about that more later. Game. Brock Purdy played a good game.
I think he
played it as well as could have been expected.
I think that Brock Purdy played well enough to win the game.
I disagree.
His team did not.
I strongly disagree with that statement, and we'll talk about that more later. I have a whole section dedicated to Brock Purdy because I am tired of hearing our boy Dan Orlovsky say that Brock Purdy played better than Patrick Mahomes. And I will not hear that slander / Brock Purdy played a great game. I will not say that he played a great game, but we'll talk about that more later. The big thing that came from the Niners touchdown was the blocked field goal.
Football's so predictable.
That one was on Moody. You can't kick it that low. I'm sorry, dude. Extra point. You got to kick that higher.
Football is so predictable, though. When if there's a missed field or extra point at any time in a game, you're like, that's going to come back to haunt you at some point.
Yep.
I'll say yes and no. I do think that the Chiefs could have scored a touchdown on that last drive if they really wanted to.
Agreed.
But you don't know. You don't know.
It was crazy how that happened. It's just so like this is going to hurt you at some point.
Yeah, and immediately both sidelines were just like, okay, this is unfortunate. Like the Niners players, you could hear them just be like, crap. And then the Chiefs players were like, all right, sweet. We just need a field goal now. That's good.
It's a humongous difference when you're up 4 versus 3.
Yeah. And Travis Kelce was actually the guy on the Chiefs sideline that was, getting the people going. And that's when Travis Kelce took over the football game.
Yes, he did.
My guy all of a sudden went one-on-one with Fred Warner on every single play and started to obliterate him.
Yeah, there's nobody on that team could have guarded him.
Yeah, I don't know if Fred Warner got tired because Fred Warner is a great linebacker. Oh, yeah. We have talked a lot about how good Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw are on this podcast. They are my favorite linebacker duo to watch in the NFL. They are so fun to watch. But I think, he must have been tired or something, and they kept having him on one-on-one man coverage. I felt like they were bracketing him very well in the first half, and they stopped in the second half, which was ballsy.
That or Kelce just decided to get a little more creative there because it seemed like he was just wide open every single time.
Yeah.
Well, talk about passion. Kelce's just got some passion.
Kelce does have the passion.
He's got the passion.
Definitely.
But on that drive, the Chiefs unfortunately had to kick a field goal from inside the 10, which is a microcosm for the entire Chiefs football season this year. They had a lot of kicking field goals from inside the 10-yard line. But it's tied 16-16 late in the fourth quarter. The Niners are driving the ball straight down the field. We get to 3rd and 4 at the 2-minute warning. And Spags does what Spags does and gets a free rusher on Brock Purdy. McDuffie swats the ball. And this was the part that I was confused by with Kyle Shanahan. We already went for it on this exact same scenario earlier in the game. If you get a first down, the game is over because you will run out the clock.
Yep.
But they decide to kick the field goal and go up by 3. And at this point in the game, I think if you're Shanahan, you got to be looking at that. Mahomes is moving the ball on you. He's doing whatever he wants. Like the entire second half of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, and the entire fourth quarter, Mahomes got inside your 10-yard line every possession. So I think he should have went for it here.
It's tough though. At the end of the game, you start thinking.
I think if you go with it if you go with the mentality that you're going for it on 4th down, you don't throw that ball on 3rd and 4. You run it to the left behind Trent Williams. You might not get all of it, and you might have 4th and 1, and then you can pass or run or do whatever you want to do there.
I agree. I have a problem with the coaches that like they're aggressive the first time, and then they get conservative all of a sudden. It's like
correct.
You're
And
gonna be aggressive. Be aggressive. It's the Dan Campbell method. Like
yeah,
you're gonna win a game doing it, and you're probably gonna lose a game doing it.
literally
You're gonna do it.
the exact same yardage, basically on the exact same yard line on the field. You went forward on 4th and 3 earlier. Now it's 3rd and 4, and you're like, hey, we're going to kick it. So it's like.
In a normal situation, I agree with kicking it. But when you have Pat Mahomes on the other sideline, that makes it tough. You can't give him the ball.
With 1:53 and 2 timeouts, you can't give him the ball.
You can't give him the ball.
So I would have went for it. But I'm glad they kicked it. They make it. It goes 19-16. And then this is the moment where Andy Reid just kept watching Nick Bosa try to kill Patrick Mahomes and use that to his advantage over and over and over again. And they walk the ball straight down the field. The best play design ever would be Kelsey on the stutter wide drag against Fred Warner for like 30 yards.
Yeah.
I don't know who in the NFL is supposed to be able to cover Travis Kelsey on that drag route with that stutter. I don't know how you do it.
Not a linebacker, that's for sure.
I don't even think a safety. I mean, the safety might have caught up to him and tackled him earlier, but ain't no way he's keeping up with him in coverage.
Nah, probably not. But that is a pretty route right there. It
was a pretty route, and he gets out of bounds, gets to the 11-yard line. Unfortunately, there was like 10 seconds left. The Chiefs still did have a timeout. They threw it incomplete. There were 6 seconds left, and they decided to kick the field goal. I was curious if they were going to take one more shot at the end zone. They decided not to kick the field goal. I did have a problem. It didn't matter. But do y'all know how long every field goal, no matter what, is supposed to take off the clock?
Like 4 seconds.
It's guaranteed, according to NFL rules, to take 4 seconds. This one only took 2 seconds. So a little bit of clock tomfoolery there.
Yeah, I thought it was a little quick. Do you agree with the kick it, or do you think they should have ran one more play?
I was fine with it because I really was afraid that Mahomes was going to dance around for too long or he was going to throw a pick. So
I thought that they definitely had time running another play.
They did.
But I get it.
It would have to be the exact same play that they ran before. Just like, hey, we're going to run Kelsey to the corner and hope that he makes a miraculous catch. The other thing that happened on this play was Creed Humphrey had his very classic low snap. He's very good at doing his low snaps.
What's up with that?
I don't know. But everyone's blaming Creed because if it would have been a correct snap, then Mahomes would have thrown it to Rashee Rice over the middle. No. Mahomes was only throwing it to 87 on that play. He even said it in the huddle. He was like, if you're one-on-one, I'm throwing you the ball. Good luck. And it's just like, yeah, like, ain't no way. I don't care how wide open Rashee Rice was. Mahomes never even looked that way and never was going to.
Well, he couldn't have anyways.
Yeah.
His ball's on the ground.
Correct. All right, and then we got to the fun part. We got to overtime. I was ready to get so mad at the stupid overtime rules. I was so ready to be pissed off that the fact that the Chiefs were going to lose because of the Josh Allen overtime rules, and then it was going to become full circle. But no, instead, tails never fails, as we have learned, unless you decide to take the ball.
That was wild. I literally thought I was missing something when he said we want the ball. I was literally like, "Am I the idiot here?"
I celebrated. I like ran around the house.
Pat Mahomes did too. Pat Mahomes was like, they took the ball.
I was running around the house like they took it. All right, sweet. This is great.
I couldn't believe it. Like I was like, no, that the fact that the ref said, "Are you sure?" is crazy.
Did he actually say it though?
Yes, it's yes. He literally, the ref was baffled by it. The ref was confused. He literally goes, "You want to receive? Are you sure you want the ball?" And he was like, "We want the ball." It was like, what?
See, okay,
what?
He didn't say, "Are you sure?" though. He repeated like, "You want the ball?" Like, which is, he's still dumbfounded because it's a stupid choice.
I'm pretty sure he says, "Are you sure?"
I'll have to go listen to that again.
It's like the time when I think it was a Texas game and they won the coin flip at first and they said we want to kick. And the ref was like, "You want to kick?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, we want to kick."
So then the other team like deferred and got it twice. Yeah.
Yeah, they got the ball twice.
Or it's like a Jair Alexander this year going out there, and saying whatever, and the ref actually did what he's not supposed to. And was like leading him on, like, "So you want to defer?" And then like he was like, "Yeah, you know what I mean." It's like, okay. So that was crazy. I really thought so. I was listening. Obviously, we didn't know during the game that the Niners players didn't know the rules. And I really thought in the post-game interviews when all the players were coming out and saying they didn't, I thought that they were taking a shot at Kyle Shanahan by saying like, "Hey, our coach made a mistake, but I'm not willing to say that." But then you go and you watch like the live mic'd up footage. No, they just straight up didn't know the rules.
But the ref explained it before he did the
coin. Which is dumb because it was on the Jumbotron. He said it out loud, but you know these players aren't listening. They've all heard the spiel 1,000 times.
I was dumb, but then the crazy part to me was they were all saying, "Oh, we didn't know the rule. We didn't know the rule," which is crazy.
Yeah.
But then Kyle Shanahan was like, "Well, we wanted the ball third." You wanted the ball third.
There's never going to be a third. I'm sorry. The only way that it's a third is if either both teams punt or both teams kick field goals. Because I guarantee you every coach in the NFL is going for it for two if you score a touchdown.
Both said they were going for two.
Yeah. Also, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes probably, unless it was 4th and long, were going to go for it on 4th down until they scored a touchdown. Even if they were in field goal range.
I had the 1 4th down.
If it was 4th and I just mean like if it was like 4th and 1 in field goal range, I bet they were going for it.
Oh, I agree totally, 100%. There's no way they were kicking a field goal there unless it was 4th and 11.
Yeah, that was crazy. The other thing that I've just driven me crazy since the Super Bowl is the media, like literally ESPN. Had people out there saying that the Chiefs won because of the new overtime rules.
No,
but they didn't. They win in the old overtime rules.
Yeah, that's how
they won according to the regular season overtime rules. And then
do with the rules.
Yeah, the other thing that was crazy to me was the amount of people that didn't know or like still couldn't explain why there's a clock.
Okay. I was wondering if you're going to bring this up.
That's so dumb.
Driving me nuts. There should not be a clock, but
there should be a clock.
There should be a clock just for like timing purposes. But the people being like, I saw so many videos of even like sports media people being like, "I don't understand why they're not calling timeout. Why not calling timeout? Why not calling timeout?" It's like the clock doesn't matter.
It does matter because besides in the Super Bowl, these are the rules for the playoffs, and real teams play outside. So you would have to switch sides of the field. It matters for kicking.
But it doesn't end the game.
No, it doesn't end the game. But like all these people be like, they play in a dome. Why does it matter? No, real teams play outdoors.
The people freaking out about it was like they're acting like it's like NBA overtime. Where like if the Chiefs didn't score before that clock ran out, he was
Yeah.
going to game, and it was like, no.
To which also it doesn't matter. They scored before the clock ran out.
And they did. But everyone was like, why are they had 2 timeouts. I'm like, why are they not calling timeout? Why are they not calling timeout?
Yeah.
They don't have to. They don't even have to run a play here, and they still get the ball.
We do a lot of Tony Romo slander on this podcast. Tony Romo did say that though on
He
CBS.
did.
He did say it doesn't matter if the clock strikes 0. But also he sounded like a drunken fool at that point. So I don't know if he was doing shots or what was going on. If Vegas got to Tony, but
I'll give him props. He did say that, and there was a lot of people freaking out about that.
All right, let's get back to the football aspect of it. The 49ers get the ball first. They go down the field. They score a field goal. On their way to getting a field goal, Kyle Juszczyk had a very possibly controversial play on the sideline. Was it a catch?
I don't think it was a catch.
I do. I think he gets both feet down, and he's clearly reaching for the first down, and that counts as the football move now.
Well,
poor Des Bryant.
That's my problem with it. Let's be consistent.
No, but they changed the rules since then. That was 10 years ago.
That was I agree. I don't know.
It was a catch. In my brain, it's a catch.
In the past, maybe the rules changed, whatever. If a football move is reaching, then there's been many catches before that have been called incomplete.
Yeah, I think it was a catch. The only reason why I wouldn't call it a catch is because in my brain, I really don't think he makes a reach. I think he catches the ball away from his body, but it's only considered a reach because he was near the pylon. I think if he wasn't near the pylon, then they wouldn't have called him reaching the ball forward because he caught the ball at full extension. But it's whatever. It didn't matter. Well, I mean, it kind of did matter, but because that was third down. It was a catch. Sure, they give it to him. And for right after that, for the second time in the game, in crunch time, the Niners failed to get a 3rd and 4 because the Chiefs got a free rusher once again from Steve Spagnuolo, who's a legend. This time it was Chris Jones. How do you not block Chris Jones?
You should know with Spags too. Like he's bringing somebody.
Yeah. No, I mean he brought everybody, and they picked up everybody, and they just let Chris Jones from the middle just run right at Brock Purdy.
There was not a single person standing.
There were 3 people open for a touchdown on that play,
Yeah.
and because of Chris Jones, he saved the Chiefs. So then we get back to the scenario. Kyle Shanahan on 4th and 4 in field goal range. Do you go for it or do you kick it? And Shanahan really was thinking that his defense was going to hold us to field goals, apparently. And so he kicks it. He wants the ball 3rd. So there you go.
Crazy.
And then the Chiefs offense played like the Chiefs offense. They tried to get it on 3rd and 1 with a run play. They lost yards because that's what the Chiefs do on 3rd and 1 when they try to run the ball. Then we had the Mahomes first run of the drive that he called himself also. I like that. The Chiefs took a timeout, went over to the side. Or no, the Niners called it. Someone called the timeout. I don't remember who called timeout.
They called a timeout at one point. I think they both called a timeout.
Yeah, but I think on this one, the Niners maybe called a timeout. He walked over and was just like, hey, this is the play I like. Or maybe, I don't know. Someone called timeout. He was like, I like this play. Called his own play. Ran it very well. It was great. Then Rashee Rice set the record for the most receptions by a rookie in playoff history with a crossing route for a big gain. Mahomes had the 19-yard run on 3rd and 1 to get to the 11. Andy almost screwed up the entire game by trying to run the weird Travis Kelce screenplay.
Yep.
But it worked. And then Tom and Jerry was the touchdown. And I could watch McCole Hardman on that game-winning touchdown all day long. It was the funniest thing ever.
It's hilarious. He has no idea. He has no idea.
My guy has no idea where he is on planet Earth at that moment in time.
He's done it twice, and he still has no idea.
Yeah, my favorite part about the past 2 Super Bowls. Can y'all name the 4 receivers who are the last people to catch a touchdown pass from Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl?
Hardman.
Last 4.
Hardman.
It's
He caught the last
Travis Kelce has to be in there.
2 Super Bowls, right? He won both Super
Yeah.
Bowls back to back.
The 2 Super Bowls that the Chiefs have won. Hardman caught the last one. Who caught the first one in this game? MVS caught the first one.
Oh, and freaking Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Does Kelsey have a Super Bowl touchdown?
Yeah, he does. He does. In the first Super Bowl win. Actually, I think he had 2.
All right.
But 3 of those 4 touchdowns came on the same play.
Same play.
I loved Andy Reid in the post game. Actually, that play was designed to be a pitch inside to McKinnon because he figured that the Niners would have scouted the Hardman play, and he was shocked that they weren't prepared for it. It was just like, yeah, like we ran that play twice in the Super Bowl last year. We figured they would like know that that's what we're going to, so we added a wrinkle to pitch it back inside to McKinnon, which classic Andy Reid wanting to win the Super Bowl on a misdirection pitch inside. And instead, he was wide open. Like there was no one near him.
This is where Shanahan starts losing me a bit. I feel like that play happens a lot in a lot of different games.
Yeah.
And it goes that same exact way every single time. You should be knowing that's coming.
Yeah, I really just I don't know how you defend it. That's my thing.
I don't need it. You got to be up on them.
It seems to me he doesn't prepare well. Like, you don't have a meeting. You don't teach your guys the rules. You don't scout the fact that this play has won a Super Bowl. It won last year's Super Bowl. And then you don't scout it? Like, you don't come up with anything?
I think he is really good at making a plan A, but he doesn't adjust for plan B.
Yeah, I agree.
Because 99% of the time, their plan A just dominates because their team is so good.
Yeah, his script, his first few scripts are great, but
yeah,
it's just at the end of the game, like, where are you at, man? You can't just rely on talent alone.
And I do think that he's starting to develop. He doesn't really do that well against the good teams, not just in the playoffs, but like, I mean, they had a skid there in the middle of the season. I mean, he's not that great against the good football teams.
Well, he plays in a division where he doesn't have to play any of them.
That's true. And usually right now the NFC is much worse than the AFC playoff wise. Like, I mean, the Lions are a good team, but they're not the Ravens. I would put the Ravens over the Lions by 10.5.
That'd probably be the Vegas line or 8.5, something like that.
And that was the game.
It ended up being a great game.
Ended up being a great game.
A great game.
Which is what we said in our preview show. That's all we were asking for, was that it was a good game.
Very entertaining. At the end of it, I was literally had to like take a breath, and I'm like a neutral observer.
Yeah,
I literally had to take a breath because if that was my team, I would have been going nuts.
It was awesome. It was great. I FaceTimed my mom immediately.
I bet your heart was going crazy on that overtime drive.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal. I mean, I told y'all on our preview podcast as well. My worst nightmare was overtime. Like I can't handle overtime. But whatever. We made it.
I mean,
the missed field
it didn't happen like we wanted it to happen, Austin. We didn't get a fumble in the back of the end zone, but we might get a rule change. We might get a rule change for overtime.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how are we going to change overtime this time? Are we going to make it to where
time on the clock and play?
No, they're going to make it. They're going to make it.
Quarters.
Okay, if they would have played another quarter, then the Chiefs would have still won. I mean, the Niners would have had 2 seconds to score a touchdown.
I don't agree with playing a full another quarter for sure because because then if the first team takes a bunch of time, it's like, okay, now the second team has.
Also, you're more likely to end up with a tie going that way because let's say the first team takes all the time on the clock and only gets a field goal out of the deal, and the other team then they're just going to get into field goal range. What they're going to do is they're going to say the team that gets the ball second isn't allowed to go for it on 4th down or some bullshit like that.
Or they have to kick the extra point, no 2-point conversion.
Yeah, they'll change something because whatever. Even though the rule still didn't matter. All right. Post game things. Mahomes wins MVP. I don't think it really matters. I don't think there's really anyone else you can give it to.
If
He
the
had-
Chiefs were
He
gonna
had
win,
400 yards.
As long as
Yeah.
if the Chiefs win, he's getting it no matter what.
I get you say that, but also he had a terrible first half, and he ended up with 400 total yards.
No,
He led
yeah,
the team in
100%.
rushing. He accounted for 89%
He played
of
a
their
good
yards
game.
in the second half and overtime. I mean, he had a great.
He played a good.
Mahomes has this just
Including
amazing.
he did pretty dang good.
Mahomes has the Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan mentality of you're not gonna beat me.
He's a winner.
The ball
He's
to
a
end the game.
winner.
I think they've shown. I think the stat I saw was in the playoffs, he has had 10 opportunities for game-winning drives in the fourth quarter. He is 8 out of 10.
I thought I saw some stat where like in the playoffs, like I think Tom Brady even like in game winning situations is like 3 for something, 3%.
Yeah.
That Pat Mahomes was 7 for 7, and some criteria that they had.
Yeah.
3 heads.
I know that he's now 12-9 when going down by 10 points in the second half,
It's crazy.
which is insane.
That's
The next closest quarterback is Tom Brady. So 12-9 is, I don't know, whatever, slightly over 50%. I think Tom Brady is at like 36%. So I mean, like there's a big difference there. I mean, he's very good in the clutch. That's the thing. Like he's obviously not the greatest of all time. That's Tom Brady. Mahomes has a long way to go. He's on track, whatever. I think that a lot of people have said for the longest time that Tom Brady was the clutchest player in NFL history. I think that Mahomes has taken that mantle.
He's 3 for 3. He had 10 points in the Super Bowl.
No, he got crushed by the Bucks.
He got crushed. Yeah.
But he lost 31-9. But I mean, he's 3 of 4.
He's 3 or 4. I mean, that can't complain about that too much.
I mean, I mean, if you're making 80% of your playoff game-winning drives, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Other things I would say my 3 other choices that I would have given MVP in no particular order would have been Harrison Butker, McDuffie, or Chris Jones, because Chris Jones isn't going to show up on the stat sheet, but he saved 3 touchdowns with his pressure. McDuffie prevented 2 touchdowns himself. I thought that both of them were the outstanding players on the defense. I think also if you go watch like the tape back, Justin Reed was another unsung hero at stopping the run in that game.
Yeah.
And then if San Francisco won the Super Bowl, it would have definitely been Juwan Jennings as their MVP.
Should have been.
For sure. All right, let's talk about some other things that have pissed me off over the time. Let's talk about Brock Purdy. Here's why, in my opinion, Brock Purdy only had a good game. And also, this is, in my opinion, what separates Patrick Mahomes from the rest of the league right now. Because there are many people, in my opinion, that match Patrick Mahomes' arm talent. Like, I think when he first got on the scene, no one could match his arm talent. But, I mean, Josh Allen is just as good of a player, but he is lacking a couple of those. Josh Allen is just as good as Patrick Mahomes, but he's lacking the clutch gene that Patrick Mahomes has. Like, you look at numbers, you look at arm talent, it's very similar, in my opinion, but Josh Allen might be the least clutch quarterback in the NFL right now. So, but here are the 5 things that made Purdy, in my opinion, just have a good game and why Patrick Mahomes is the best. Brock Purdy was terrible on third down. He was awful. They could have kept so many more drives going.
Yeah, they had a lot of bad, like, long third downs, though, too.
Yeah, but
Please.
in the fourth quarter and overtime, they went 0 for 4 on 3rd and 4.
Yeah, that's not pretty.
Not pretty. The other thing that I got from all of this, Purdy is way too quiet. You never see clips of him motivating his teammates on the sideline. He's very Jalen Hurts-esque. They go and they sit. The only people that you hear trying to motivate are Trent Williams and George Kittle.
And George Kittle even walked up to Brock Purdy and was like, dude, we need you. Like,
Yeah.
Come on.
Like I'm sorry, you can't be the quarterback of the team and not be the leader of the team.
I have that might change after this year.
So that's something that kind of pissed me off when captains come out. If your captain is not your quarterback, I got a fucking problem. I got a problem. Like,
yeah, I mean,
you're supposed to be the leader of the team. Your quarterback, I don't give a fuck if he is just another swinging dick you're just putting in for the time being. That should be your guy. He should be up there. And you know what? I have a question on if Brock Purdy may have known the rules. And, like, you're telling me the quarterback didn't look into what are the rules if I go into overtime? I bet you Brock Purdy knew. I know, but I bet Brock Purdy knew, and if he was standing up there, he probably would have said something. But he's not a fucking captain. That's fucking nuts, dude. Your quarterback should be a captain. At any level of this sport, your quarterback's the fucking captain.
Also, I guarantee you, like, if it was the Chiefs, they definitely, obviously you have that. If you are a proper run team, you have that discussion pre-game during the week. Like Travis Kelce said on his podcast, they had 3 separate meetings about overtime alone. But also, I guarantee you, once they go to overtime, Patrick Mahomes walked up to Andy Reid and still said, I want the ball second, and we'll go, and we will do our thing, and we're going to go for 2, and we're going to do all of these things.
Exactly.
And, yeah, I feel like Shanahan and Purdy don't talk.
No, they don't. You never see him talking. You never see him. To be fair, you don't see Shanahan talk to many players, like, ever.
That's fair.
Like, the guy just kind of is on his own, you know? Like, he's not out conversating.
He's
like,
staring at that play call sheet, man. He loves staring at that play call sheet. Next reason why Purdy only had a good game and Mahomes is the best in the NFL and it's not close. Brock Purdy does not do protections at the line of scrimmage.
I think that's a coaching thing too, though.
That's terrible, though. He's the person that can see it the best. I hate, like the Eagles, Jason Kelce does the protections. Jason Kelce can't see everything. He's bent over.
Yeah.
Mahomes calls out everything. And how many times do you see free rushers get to Patrick Mahomes? Like, never. Now, lots of times it happens because our tackles are sometimes kind of bad. And so they get beat. But you never see a free rusher, and at the end of the game, Spags took advantage of the fact that Brock Purdy can't call protections.
Do you think that's a coaching thing? Not allowing him to do that? Or they don't trust him to do it, I guess.
I think it's a little bit of A and B. I think it's A and B. I think that the coaches don't let him do it because they don't think that they're good enough to do it.
Which is crazy. I didn't even realize that there were teams that the quarterback didn't call the protections.
There's a ton.
Until the Eagles came up, and I was like, what?
There are a ton of teams that the QB doesn't do the protection.
The quarterback is standing back there like that's what he's looking at.
I mean, the center's also a part of it, but like
for sure.
Mahomes' cadence, you see him on every play because the Chiefs are almost always in shotgun. Every single play, he comes to the line of scrimmage to talk.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons why Brady was so good and Peyton Manning was so good because they study their game. And then they can tell you, I guarantee you 98% of the time, Brady, Manning, and Mahomes know what defense you are running exactly. They've studied the film, and they know exactly what you're running. Now, you might fool them every 2%, and that's when you get your turnovers and stuff like that. But the quarterbacks who protect the ball and don't turn it over are because they know what's going on. And that's what makes the Chiefs' offensive line looks so good. I know that they get these really high PFF grades and everyone's like, oh, well, the Mahomes is always blessed with a great offensive line. You look at the guys when they leave Kansas City, they look terrible because
also Nick Allegretti was the starting line.
Yeah, Nick Allegretti tore his UCL and still played the entire game. I think he did that, one, to smack Brock Purdy in the face, but two, because Nicky is a beast. And I know that he probably won't be on the Chiefs next year, but I might have to buy me a Nicky jersey. All right, number 4 reason. We've already talked about this one. Mahomes is unstoppable in clutch moments. I mean, it's a thing now. Whatever.
Don't get himself.
And my favorite thing that has now come out, and it came out actually today. Today they released the average air yards on every quarterback's touchdowns this year, and Patrick Mahomes came in dead last place at like 3.4 yards. Patrick Mahomes has officially hit his highest evolution and is a check down merchant. Gotta love it.
That's actually crazy.
I don't think anyone that watches, like everyone was like, it was trending on Twitter today that Patrick, or X or whatever you want to call it, that like Patrick Mahomes is a game manager, check down merchant. I don't think anyone can watch Patrick Mahomes with his eyes or with your eyes and call him a game manager. He is like the exact opposite of that.
To me, that's actually just saying, oh, he knows exactly what you're doing on defense. He knows exactly who to get the ball to, and he knows where you're going to go.
He had to. I mean, the Chiefs' offense has evolved since Tyreek Hill left. We don't have a good deep threat, so we don't throw the ball deep anymore.
No, they threw the ball deep one time.
Yeah. Also, another great reason why the Chiefs always throw the ball in from the 5-yard line. The Chiefs are really bad at running the football in short yard situations, and the Chiefs will never do a QB sneak ever in the history of the NFL ever again.
I don't know if there's ever been a better team to be so bad at 3rd and 1.
Yeah, we're really bad at 3rd and 1, but we're great at 4th and 1. Amazing at 4th and 1. I think we just like to make it look more difficult. Earn it the hard way. All right. I didn't really pay attention to most things post game. I was kind of just in celebratory haze. The interviews were fine. I didn't really take anything out of it. Let's talk about the parade. First of all, I love my very conservative Kansas City Star. Shout out to the newspaper, the Kansas City Star, every year criticizing the players for getting too drunk.
Travis Kelce was
no.
gone.
There's only one guy to talk about, and that is Willie Gay. If you have not seen Willie Gay do his interview laying in the street, you got to go watch that. It is the most entertaining. He got a grown woman to lay on the ground next to him to interview him, and then he just spoke nonsense.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
He was definitely feeling pretty good.
Travis Kelce was pretty rough. Mahomes wasn't great either.
You could see Mahomes though, even though when Travis got the mic, he was like, "Uh-oh!" Like he was trying to hold him back. Like, and then they were like, they had like propped him up basically.
Yeah, it was.
I do love those two together because you can see the fear in Mahomes' face when Travis goes to say something, and he's like, "Oh, this is not going to come out right."
Yeah, and it did not. His rendition of was it Toby Keith's song? It was bad. It was not good.
Yeah, what song was it? I can't remember. It wasn't good.
I mean, to be fair, the post game, Travis Kelce seemed like he was blasted when he got on the mic. Viva Las Vegas!
Oh, he always just decides to start screaming, man. He's a crazy guy.
He is a crazy guy, but I mean, it makes sense. The Kelce brothers are they're party animals. I would love to have some beers.
Yeah, Jason Kelce being in the luchador mask all night that's pretty great.
The funniest videos I saw were it was like Travis and Taylor walking, and then all of a sudden the camera would pan over and Jason was following them in the luchador mask.
Yes, and then like Travis was wearing his black suit.
Yeah.
Taylor's dressed nice, and then Jason's just like walking in the luchador. It's great. And then of course everyone got offended because he stole a kid's luchador mask, and it's like, can we relax?
Yeah, people may get over
I'm sorry.
Who cares?
Finders keepers, kid. If you lose your luchador mask and it ends up in Jason Kelce, it's his now.
Yeah, he put it on his sweaty head. Do you want it back?
Yeah, the fact that it fit was actually pretty impressive.
It is hilarious because you saw other videos through the night where it's like Travis and Taylor like hugging, and it pans over and Jason's in the DJ booth just still with the mask on, and he's just and then obviously end of parade. I
terrified. So I wasn't watching the parade because I'm at work like a great. No, sorry, I was on a flight home, and I get a push notification that there was a shooting at Union Station, which, as a person who has family from Kansas City, I know that that's the end of the parade. And I really thought that like a Bills fan tried to kill Chiefs players. That's my first thought.
That's
I
what
was
I
like,
thought.
some NFL fan waited at the end and like tried to take their shot at Mahomes or Kelsey or whatever it was going to be.
I thought that.
And
Same thing at first.
yeah, my first thought on this whole thing is that parades are going to die.
Yeah, parades are gone.
Yeah.
Parades are gone for sure.
Dude,
Or
Because
there's parade control.
I would no. So that's the thing. So I went to the Rangers World Series parade, where there's 2 million people showed up.
Yeah,
that was the most chaotic thing I have ever gone to in my life. There is zero law and order. You can do whatever.
Yeah, there's no way to have control.
There's no checks. They're like that. Like people are climbing on top of buildings, and there's like little like rent-a-cop security guards going, "Hey, get down, get down!" And fans are like throwing full canned beers at these rent-a-cops, going, "Go fuck yourself, go away." And then you look on top of the building, like the tall building, sniper teams, but that's it. That's all you got. But there's 2 million people.
Yeah, there's no way to like check every person. There's no way for everyone to go through metal detectors. So like the only way that they can do a parade is do like a much shorter version, and like it wouldn't really. You can't do a parade. You can do like, hey, let me buy tickets or reserve tickets and go to a designated area like inside the stadium.
Yeah,
and then that way you can check every person. But like that's going to limit it. Instead of having 1 million people there, you're going to have 80,000.
Yeah. It's just not the same.
After the video started coming out, I was like, that was not like a.
No, it was not a. But now people could possibly have the thought of, well, it's doable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, if you 100%. Wanted to, take it out.
Yeah. And also there's way too many people that like the numbers aren't going to be devastating. Like
that's what I was thinking when I heard only one person had died. I was like, there's no way if you planned something like that, you would take out hundreds.
Yeah. And we gotta shout out all the brave men and women that were jumping on dudes and tackling guys and getting stuff. Also, side note, I saw today somebody, I think it was on a Delta flight, tried to just stand up and open the emergency exit like mid-flight. They tried to rip off the emergency door, and these guys just like tackled him and beat the crap out of him.
Twitter was one of the dudes that jumped on him.
Yeah, it was just like
that's what I'm talking about.
So like, hey, there's crazy people out there. Be on the lookout.
Be a man.
Way to go.
Beat that dude's ass.
Yeah, way to go, average citizens, getting your job, getting stuff done and protecting the people. I don't think that also, like, I know that a lot of places take this moment to like blame the police and stuff like that. There's really, I don't really think you can do that. There was 1 million people and there's 800 police. Like, it's just not possible.
The response was great. The response
was great, dude. You saw guys booking it over there.
They ran straight towards it. They went into action and they went and did their job. They did a great job.
The only complaint I had about the response was those dudes that tackled him should have been lighting him up.
Oh yeah, they were just laying on him.
I don't understand. If I tackle a guy that's open shooting at a parade, I'm breaking his fucking jaw. He might die before the cops get there. I'm stomping the fuck out of that dude.
That's what I said too.
That dude's not waking up. He's not waking up. I'm killing that guy.
Yeah, it was not great. The quotes kind of came out today about because they arrested they charged 2 of the people today. They're insane. It definitely just sounded like
they're thugs.
It sounded like there was possibly 2 groups of people who didn't like each other that are pretending that they were strangers, and it all started according because they were staring at each other. And I've had people stare at me. I have never wanted to shoot somebody who has stared at me ever in my lifetime.
I was
So,
thinking,
Sounds very
I was thinking to
gangish.
myself today, I was thinking to myself today, it is so easy to go through life and not try to kill somebody. It is
Yeah.
like unbelievably easy.
I also, because these guys are all wearing Chief stuff. If I'm going to my team's victory parade, am not going to bring an assault rifle. Personally, I am going to bring a lot of beer, like a lot of beer. That's my plan.
I also don't typically carry an assault rifle to any
I will have my pistol, but I ain't bringing a freaking AR.
Yeah, those are very different things.
Another bizarre thing to me, I could see if it was a pistol, but it was literally an AR. Like,
Yeah.
That was weird. That's why I'm like, nah, bro. No, I don't believe you when you say you just saw another group staring at you. No, you knew them.
that was hard.
Yeah, this is gay. This is a gang thing. This is something else. But we're not going to talk about it that way because it doesn't look good for the perspective.
Unless the kid just got into daddy's safe and thought, let me take this.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I was also really terrified when the lady like picked it up because the way she was holding it, I was just like, oh gosh, she's gonna like accidentally shoot somebody on accident.
Yeah, luckily she died after a while. I was like, think you should leave that thing away.
Thankfully, but by this point in time, all of the children have been released, and none of the children suffered life-ending injuries. We are very sad that one person did pass away. And thoughts and prayers go out to their family. If you don't like thoughts and prayers, sucks. But yeah, it was obviously a sad moment. We're gonna obviously hope that nothing like this happens again. We will see what this has to do with parades in the future. And will they still occur and things like that. Shout out to
great. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say just like shout out to like the Chiefs players and stuff and the money that they've raised, and just the Chiefs Kingdom has raised a lot of money for all the victims so far and their families, which is a really cool thing. So we saw a crappy side of our civilization where, you know, two people get mad at each other for staring at each other, so they decide to shoot each other. But then you also get to see in all these scenarios how cities and groups come together. And we'll say there were only I think there were only 3 teams that did not post an official like thing of regret. And they were like the Niners, the Bills, and the Bengals. And it's like shocker that those were the 3 teams that did not post anything on social media saying like they were officially like sad or anything like that. So that was pretty crappy.
You know, it would be great if we could just get rid of shitty people in society. Like those people, like why come? Like, why even come? Like, don't even go to the fucking parade. Like, you shouldn't come to the parade. We don't want you there. No one wants you there. The majority of the population doesn't want you to leave your fucking house, you lazy piece of shit.
It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Whatever happened, it does not make a whole lot of sense.
No, but we'll never know the real story behind it. They'll lock the kid up. They'll never talk about it again because it didn't fit a narrative they wanted it to.
Hey, speaking of trying to fit narratives and things, the last thing we got to talk about with this is there's a poor Kansas City man that was accused and put on the internet as one of the shooters, but he just got arrested for getting a little too drunk. So
he was.
Dude's gonna be a millionaire though. He's gonna be a millionaire.
That dude is about to sue the pants off of CNN. So good for him.
I will say though, I saw a video of him before all that happened, and I was like, yeah, he looks messed up in the head.
Yeah, he was rightfully detained for a public intoxication.
But he did not shoot anyone.
But he didn't shoot anybody. And here on the Football's King podcast, we love right information.
It's sad when you have to go have a press conference and be like, I did not shoot anyone. Stop identifying me.
I got drunk.
Yeah.
He did
not a great alibi though, of like I was too drunk to remember shooting somebody. Not ideal, but thankfully we have videos, and this guy is not gonna go.
Nicest dude of all time.
Dude, can you imagine like waking up in a jail cell and your family's like, "Yo, you're on CNN for shooting people."
Yeah. My last thing that
I'm like, I just sent him out with a 12-pack of Coors Light. There's no gun on him.
I did what?
my last bit of info on this one would be the thing that I am also not thrilled about is that these guys are only being charged with second-degree murder instead of a mass shooting, which is not
It
ideal.
should be charged as terrorism. It should be
Because
charged as
I
terrorism.
mean, they might not have meant to do a terrorist act, but they did a terrorist
That's
act.
just so they can keep him in jail. They'll get
What they
20
should do
charges
is they should
murder.
they should just charge them with all sorts of shit and just see what can stick and get them and
No,
just stack
I
it
think
up.
they
See
go-
if they can spend the
They
rest
could
of
probably,
their fucking
they
life
could
in
probably
prison.
legit get hundreds of charges in attempted murder. So they're not going nowhere.
Yeah, they
It-
should rot underneath the prison. Send them to El Salvador.
According to this-
I heard it's doing wonders.
According to this, it says that they were charged with one account of second-degree murder, 2 counts of armed criminal action, and unlawful use of a weapon.
They'll probably get more.
Yeah, so we'll see.
I mean,
We'll see
they'll
what
keep
comes
stacking.
with that.
I mean, the
All right,
dumbass
we're gonna-
literally admitted to just shooting a random person instead of the person
Because-
staring at him. So
He did say that he shot someone just at random, so that's not an ideal thing to do.
he
either.
sounds like a real great freaking human being.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Don't worry, y'all. For those who are like, "Oh no, this football season's over. We're never gonna hear from our favorite podcast again." Oh, y'all, welcome to the off season. Now we're gonna be talking. I think franchise tags opened yesterday or today. So we got those kind of things. We got 50 really big name free agents out there to talk about. We will do some pre-draft stuff. We'll do draft night. We're gonna start maybe hitting y'all with some UFL action in the off season, depending on how that goes.
There's plenty going on. I mean, plenty of shit goes on.
You'll hear from us. You're probably not going to hear from us every week. So be sure to be following us on all the social medias and things, and like and subscribe on YouTube. Hit the notification button so that you get notifications when we post another video. But yeah, we will be coming at y'all soon.
We maybe ended
some-
up having to cover some College World Series, you know? A&M something
Yeah,
good.
probably not. You can do that. You can do that on your new. I don't know what you're doing as a lifestyle Facebooker now, but you can.
Get paid for it, so.
Yeah, you can talk about that on your construction Facebook page.
Get paid for
That'll
it.
do it. Hey, what a great season it
What a
was,
season.
everybody.
What a
Good season.
It was a good season of football. It's sad that we got to go 20-something weeks without football again. But the Chiefs
Raiders
are
are winning
back-to-back
next year's
champions.
Super Bowl, boys.
Hey,
Raiders
while we're on
winning
that topic, Jonathan, how does it feel to have your rival team win a Super Bowl in your stadium before you won a playoff game?
Man, I was really hoping that
Even hosted a playoff game.
didn't come up. So good night. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, all right. We'll see y'all next week. Or sorry, next time. Have a good night.